Yo, rave Vesperia here, and for my first deck profile, I'm going to show you my level 8 beatdown deck. Now, first things first, I'm going to tell you now, I hate the current meta, March 2012. I think it's all autopilot. I think that skill in this game has been sacrificed for broken cards that are overpriced and are just annoying. So my deck actually isn't that expensive, and it's really powerful, and it has a little something for everyone in the meta. So let's take a look. What you're going to notice here is that it's a really odd combination of Malefics, Dark World, and Beatdown, and throw in a little Geartown, and it all seems kind of mashed up at first. But actually, it's a unique synergy because it all weaves together. You have way more draw power than you're ever going to need. I rarely have more than 10 cards in my deck left at the end of duels. With the Dark World dealings, card destruction, trade-in, and allure, not to mention deck thinning, summoning Gadgetron by destroying Geartown, Gates, a deal with Dark Ruler, and Snow too, as well as Brow. The draw power in this deck is out of this world. And I told you earlier that I hate the meta. I think it's become skillless. So I figured that I should, ironically, use skill drain. Force them to think of some other way to win other than their stupid wind-up loop or their stupid Inzector, Hornet loop, Exceed. It's all just very autopilot, and I want people to start thinking outside the box and coming up with other ways to win. So, ironically, the way to do that is to become even more skillless, if possible, than the meta decks by shutting effects down, and making them win other ways, and just relying on raw attack power. You have my 3 skill drains, obviously. Imperial Custom's a great card because, in theory, it takes them 3 cards to destroy a skill drain. If they use an MST on skill drain, you chain Imperial Custom, that's 1 MST gone. Then they need to use another spell or trap removal card to get rid of Imperial Custom, then they can get rid of that skill drain, which leaves you with 2 more skill drains and then down 3 spell and trap removal. As you can see, it's a very high level deck. It's very easy to summon cheap power immediately. You have the Malefics, very easy to summon. Only Stardust and Cyber End in this deck. Stardust is compatible with Trade-In. Stardust and Cyber End are compatible with Allure, so there's a lot of draw power and cheap attack power there. You have the Dark World cards, which are an interesting addition, but they add a lot of synergy, a lot of speed, and a lot of destructive power because you have a reusable beater in Grapha, you have additional card destruction with him, you have searching with Snow, and then you have extra draw power with Brow. So that adds a lot to the deck. It's a tad inconsistent, but it's so fast that usually you get what you need no matter what. Barbaros, normal summon him, cool 1900 attack point beater with skill drain, 3000 attack point normal summon requiring no tributes. It's a cheap, costless way of summoning a ridiculous amount of attack power in a short period of time. You have Geartown, unique synergy because Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon is compatible with Trade-In. Powers field spells for the Malefics, and it's a great way to use Trade-In. Send him to the graveyard. You can reuse him again. You can thin the deck by getting another one out. So it all weaves together attack power wise. And then of course you have such high attack power monsters here, and then it's a staple. You'd be foolish to not have Monster Reborn. And as for Berserk Dragon, it's the funniest thing in the world to have, say, Beast King Barbaros and Malefic Stardust Dragon with a skill drain. They use Dark Hole and they think they've got you for game. They enter battle phase. You use a deal with Dark Ruler, just to see a 3,500 attack point beater in their face. There's 2 plus sides. If you don't have skill drain, you can wipe out everyone on their field at once. It's highly unlikely they'll have anyone stronger. And if you have skill drain, it's just a 3,500 attack point beater. Won't get weaker. Obviously can't attack everyone, but it's another great card to have. Also compatible with Trade-In and Allure. Finally, for the side deck choices, it seems kind of random, but I figure that as of now, it's a work in progress. You have the staples of Max C and Effect Dealer. Both, if those annoying overused wind-up decks manage to try and pull off their loop first turn before I can hit them with skill drain, it's good to have one of these as reinforcements. If I'm up against a macro deck, obviously I'm going to need to take out Dark World. So I have Thunder King Ryo here. Kinetic Soldier is a great card to side in against the 6 Samurai, because he gains 2,000 attack and defense points when he's fighting a warrior monster. Doomcaliber Knight's also an incredible card because it forces them to waste an effect that they could otherwise use on you, just getting rid of it. Kaiser Coliseum, it's a little known card that is domination against 6 Samurai. Essentially, they cannot have more monsters than you as long as you have one monster. So you can see how that'd be a problem for Samurai. They can't swarm on you. If you have one monster on the field, they can't use Rescue Rabbit first turn. They need to waste spell or trap removal on it, allowing skill drain to be untouched. You have your spell and trap removal here just in case of Royal Degree. You have the staple Prohibition to kill Hornet or Hunter or Rabbit or whatever you need. And then Imperial Iron Wall, which may lock down your own Gates of Dark World and Malefic summonings, but if you're up against a pure macro deck, this card will often be enough. As for the the extra deck, you have the 3 Stardust Dragons and 3 Cyber End Dragons. You have number 39 Utopia, just in case somehow you end up with 2 Snows on the field. Couldn't hurt. Divine Dragon, not released yet, but I assure you that it will be in my deck. This is my real deck, by the way, as soon as it's released. Neo Galaxy Eyes, obviously. It's really fun first turn to summon Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and see your opponent, or hear your opponent be like, what the hell is going on here? Not sure if number 15's been released yet, but this is a good card to have if, for high defense power, getting rid of special summon monsters. Then you have Acid. Then if you have 2 level 3s on the field to browse, you have a choice. If you have Skill Drain, you're obviously going to go for Acid Golem because its negative effect won't matter, and it's a giant 3,000 attack and defense beat stick. If you don't have Skill Drain, you can stall a little bit until you do with Zen Mines. It all weaves together because it has the incredible draw power, it has incredible attack power. You're almost always going to hit at least 1 Skill Drain during the duel because you have such ridiculous draw power in this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 monsters out of 20 are level 8. I was considering adding Advanced Draw to this deck, but I figured that there wasn't enough room for it. And since so many monsters are going to be banished/discarded via drawing anyway, Advanced Draw probably wouldn't fit. And it has a lot of success against the meta because it forces them to think outside the box, and if there's one thing I've learned about the typical net decker, Inzektor, Windup, or Rabbit or Samurai user, they know how to use their deck, and then when one thing is taken away from them, they have no idea what to do. So, if you hate the meta as much as I do, something like this, a skill drain deck, Malefic Gear, Malefic Gravekeeper, that's always fun. Even Dark World Drain, pure Dark World with adding skill drain in there, since drain doesn't affect them. It's all a great way to get into the meta's head, be a little creative at the same time, because drain has a lot of use in different decks, and the meta absolutely hates it. Dark World, obviously, it doesn't mind so much, but Dark World by itself is generally really inconsistent. I find it's much better as part of a deck such as this. Anyway, this is my first deck profile. If you like it, just give me comments. Let me know what you think. And next deck will likely be Gem Knights. Peace out.